Grand Rising, brothers. It's a Sunday, November 8th, 2020, 0700 hours, 6 minutes. And this is about etymology of the words. I know today's Sunday, so I'm going to try to give you two short videos. This one probably going to be a not a shorter, but a longer video. And I'll let you know within each section of the video and what part that when I record and go over this, what I'm talking about and where is it located, like the timestamp. So that's going to be the presentation of the etymology. And the reason I've done the etymology, because I'll be having discussions with the brothers. They're well versed in things, but if we're going to use information, should we not use all the information? I don't want a scenario when I know the information is wrong. I don't want a scenario where we're not exacting our full ability. Hashtag Brother Talk series. So that's going to be very important to me. Please check it out. There's no videos yet. There's one, the introduction, explaining what we're going to talk about, what we're going to do. And one of them is education. Education goes beyond the schools your children go to, the colleges we all go to. There's the libraries. There's information online that we can use. And then to make it even better, I can go to the library, I can go online and say, wow, does this add up? Did this go together? Oh, what's missing? What didn't know? That's education to me, not because how many degrees you hold, how fast you went through elementary or vocational or technical school. Or get a certification. That's the knowledge to know. That's why it's called knowledge. Know. You got to know that specific area so you can work in that area. So this presentation of etymology, we're going to begin with the first word, government. Now, within the word government, it's the act of governing or ruling, system by which a thing is governed, especially a state. And you see where it derived from. Control, direction, administration. And you see where it comes from again. And see the whole meaning of the word, from governor, to steer by at the helm of, govern, rule, command, direct. Governor, to direct, rule, guide, governor. Originally to steer, to pilot. And you see governor, meaning governing power in a given place. And it shows here, but it shows that's not when the government was created, though. So, but we go back, and it was even before the 1550s, government was already being cast upon us. And say the organizations that's governing authority of a political unit, act of governing, exercising authority. The system or form by which a community or political unit is governed. The study of a government of a state and other political units. And this was my first one because the brother I was speaking with, said, we need government. He said, do you believe in law? I said, believe in? No. I said, I study it so I know what I'm talking about. But if your whole system and rundown is based upon laws that someone created, this is what I gave him. But before I gave him that, I said, well, if you're using government, shouldn't you use govern, which the beginning? See, but when I was talking to this brother, I noticed something. I said, this is very odd. I wasn't getting mad. I said, brother, it's not that he's gonna let me allow. See how the government, he tried to say I was governing him because he used the word nigga. Well, if I'm talking to you and keep calling you a nigga, parental advising discretion, real quick. If I'm calling you a nigga or a bitch, do you want to be called a nigga or a bitch? And then as we talk, the word nigga didn't come out until he tried to exact. So if I didn't do none of my, he started doing that Christian thing, that religious thing, that dissing, putting the brother down thing. I said, brother, hold on. I let him speak because I can speak. This dude spoke way longer than I did. And I said, brother, can I get a chance to say something? You're talking directly to me. I said, and he's a father. So I said, as my father and as a father, you want to govern your son? He said, yes. He want to govern his son. He want to have authority and power over. I said, wow. I said, isn't that what we're trying to get away from? The reason why a George Floyd or Breonna Taylor can happen because we have government. But how about if we had, and let me go through this, to rule with authority. I need to rule with authority for you to want to do the right thing. Because that was mine. Because he said, do I need law? We don't need no law. We don't need a government system. We don't need people to rule over people. Think about how that sounds. And I had to understand, I'm coming from a place where you telling me we can't do something. You coming from a place where you can't do it. I know people say I can have a woe is me and victim mentality, but I said, if a brother came to me and said, man, I might have an idea how to start this business that you doing, and I can either donate or be part of it, I would say, okay, brother, let's go. See, that's my mentality. I have a collective mentality. But I said, brother, too. I don't have an all lives matter and a black lives matter. I have a people race matter, because that was what our focus on our topic kind of became about because of the presidency. What if we tried to build our own community became one of the questions. But the brother kept knocking down everything because he wanted to steer, power, guide, and control. You can see the meaning. So if we go and look at that, now one part that catches me, figurative to guide, governor, pilot as a pilot, to steer as a pilot or ship. So this is how I study. Now I want to show you, I probably showed you before, and I know I did, how I study. You see those words that to steer, to pilot, nautical borrowing from the Greek carbonin, which is the root of cybernetics. See, now here we go. This is how I study. The theory of communication and control. But it was happening since 1894. But even before that, see, now when I study, you'll probably think I was secluded, which I am. I live alone. And I even mentioned that to the brother. I said, I can do things you won't do. I said, how come you won't let the person that's been doing this, if you a fairly new brother, to having to advocate without a form of hatred, without a form of actually seeing our race prosper, why won't you let the people that's been doing it for a while, or at least have the ideas, they're saying, if you keep saying something's not sustainable, something's not able to do it because you didn't study it. Because how you study something and you forget about the studying, the theory or study of communication and control. With X, real quick, name a science or discipline: acoustics, aerobics, economics, revival of classical customs using the neuter plural of the Greek words oikos, pertaining to mean matter relevant to, and also at the ties of the treaties above them. So we got title, I said tithes, but that's interesting. Tithes mean income. Titles of treaties above them. Subject matters are acquired, and it shows and it goes into it. Now, I looked at that one already. Okay. And you can see now the name of science. So economics is one of them in government, and it's pertaining to. What was the other word? Yeah, it's highlighted. Still recording. Now, look up the word control. See, this brother was, if you was going to talk to me, you got to do the whole work to check the accuracy of, verify, to regulate. Now, the reason I'll be doing that, And you gotta look at the whole thing. So even if I looked at the Webster Dictionary, the Thesaurus, or the Almanac, or anything, you see all these meanings. I have to say that one meaning is not left out. I'm gonna give you the origin too as well. We can't say we're not gonna do that, because when you do that, that means you don't understand where the word derived from. So we have to understand. So control, communication. I was trying to give the brother everything that I can give. The act of communicating, the act of imparting, discussing, debated, conferring. The figure of speech. To share, divide out, communicate, impart, inform, union, unite, join, participate in. To make comment. So he's communicating. He kept saying, I said, I don't agree with you. I said, at first, we're not even agreeing on what we're talking about. And then when I broke it down, I broke it up and said, oh, I see our differences. I said, you talking about government and I'm talking about order. We're not talking about the same thing. He said, and he kept trying to lead me back. I said, so imagine you want to be married, but you're around dudes, all they do is be players. It's some wealth of knowledge in there, but is that No, I don't mean you don't hang around them. But I mean, my wealth of knowledge is I want to be married one day. When married men was dating, what was married men do? Not what players was doing. People was like, well, he was a player before he married. Well, there's a wealth of knowledge. A lot of dudes were not players. A lot of dudes were not sexing women. So the wealth of knowledge will go, man, what am I doing different from both? But the people I'm going to keep in my understanding is going to be the guys I want. So if I would want to build a city, you think I want to call somebody that's going to keep knocking down what I'm saying? You think I want to put together a building? If I'm coming with blueprints and this person is coming with a piece of paper that he drew a picture of, a blueprints was of the schematics that I drew out on the computer. I measured these, and then the brother saying, well, we're not going to be able to do this. But you come with a loose leaf paper, not a blueprint, and tell me that this is not going to work. That don't make sense. And that's what we got to understand as a race. And here's some more words. Nice. You see why I don't use nice? Foolish, ignorant, frivolous, senseless, careless, clumsy, weak, poor. Wife, from with, from Old English, woman, female, lady, but especially wife from Proto-Germanic, wiffa, also from Old Saxon, with, fifth, Dutch, Swedish, and all that, uncertain origin, now found in Gothic. But it still give you it now. So it says, this is a good one, not found in Gothic. So uncertain of the origin. So uncertain of the origin, if we want to build the community, it's uncertain origin because we don't have it. We have an examples, which is good. That's when I go back to, if we gonna talk about government, I want to let you know, well, here's an understanding of where it come from. There's the other background to it. You don't knock it down, even the word queen. But since it's on my mind, and I said, instead of having government, which we saying, and let's have a order. Now, if we look at it, it's a body of persons living under religious discipline. Let's figure out the religious, because we're gonna look up religious real quick. I'd rather have order. I don't want a religious discipline. And that's what I told them. I said, maybe order is not the word, but I don't want government. We've been government. A devout PS imbued with expression of religious devotion pertaining to religion. So whatever you're studying. And so let's say Well, maybe we want order. So our religion. I'm not trying to bind you to anything because I want to go back. I want to make sure a battlefront war. It is. And then all he kept saying is, well, if you don't want to do it that way, you gotta. No, you don't. It's called command. See, he brought up war, and that's why I know he's like, it's called command and conquer. Are you conquered by their law? And it sounded as he was. But I didn't get to talk to them. So everything I wanted to say, even when I was thinking it, as he talked for a while, because it gave me a chance to think. I was like, brother, we not talking. I want to fit together. I want to have a role, arrangement, a routine, a regulation, a position, a state. I don't want to rule. That's why I said some words going to come out the same as government. But I want us to be together. I don't want you to think you better than me. I feel as if we're going to make a city, because we was on reparations in that post sent. He said, well, if you get reparation, you ask them. I said, no, you command. I said, I don't have to. We're 2020. You telling me I'm not bright enough. I'm not more intelligent enough to say, hey, what you did was wrong. You got to honor the wrong. If you don't want to honor it, I'm just talking to you to come to you. I don't got to fight. I don't have to go through you. But everything it was a knockdown. I said, I used to sound that way. You said it's not sustainable because you studied, but he don't know what words mean. I said, where did you study at then? I don't care. Your studying, you came up against a person that wasn't going to allow you to beat you down or beat us down or beat our people down because you have a certain feeling. And then he did the all lives matters on me. You know what his all lives matter? He said, he kept giving them power, talking about, I talk this way. He said the word nigga, I talk this way. I've been talking this way, whatever, my whole life. I said so in a matter of manners and etiquettes. But you say you want government. So he kept saying, we don't want the corrupted government. I said, yes, you do. That was his primary. His corrupted government don't have to say, man, I respect my brother. The government don't have respect and honor. If you saying it's corrupted, where's the respect and honor of the people? If we bring up we the people, I said, man, I'm part of we the people. Then he got mad because I said, I don't want marijuana. And he cut me off. He said, this is what you said. I said, brother, I didn't say that. I literally didn't even get to finish my statement. I said, and he kept saying I didn't finish mine. I said, well, you will be the brother I wouldn't be around. I don't smoke. But at the same time, he said, there's CB. I said, dude, I know that. If you let me talk, I can finish. I know the health factors. But I said, it's going to be people. I don't care if 80% of people want us to do drugs in the world. There's 20% that don't want to do drugs. And it's a thing that they're going to be doing. They're going to be visualizing it. So they're going to be standing in front of them doing the drugs and the smell. I said, do you ain't think about somebody else's lungs? Just because your lungs jacked up or somebody else's lungs? Or you care for the smell, somebody else supposed to care. I said, if we going to have order, arrangement, suggestions, help one another, a form of methodical or harmonious arrangement to fit in, a coalition of parts. So a coalition of people, when you want to designate, I'm going to smell weed, cool. But if I go around this whole city that we create and I smell weed, you think people that's getting bothered by the smoke or weed or vapor or cigarette smell, you think they want to sit and live in, those people that's going to actually help want to live in that city? Why would somebody want to live in that city? Why would those people that's still good? Why we want to throw away the good people? And just because you came out of an area, now you finally can see you're still doing what you're doing. Because he did, because when I left, and then talking to another person, talk about I ran away because I didn't get my way, they didn't listen to me. I said, did you listen? Did you listen to our discussion? Did you hear how, if we was doing hypotheticals, as he kept calling it, just think a way of what you thinking. That brother not one time did a hypothetical or thought away from his thought. He still thought. He said he used to think he was better than the people that was the black men that wasn't working until he lost. Excuse me. Until he lost everything. It took for him to lose everything. I said, well, some of us not built that way. He said, for him. I said, exactly. And he said, put your shoes in other people's shoes. I said, I'm doing that. And this is what I learned. This brother don't have this. A feel of sorrow or deep tenderness for one who's suffering or experienced misfortune. He have no sympathy. And he still didn't have that because even in our talk, he brought up, he kept doing what he used to do. I said, brother, I even told him, I said, you're doing the same thing you used to do. He's like, what you mean? I said, you're talking to me. And I'm not beef because I don't have to go there with you. You're doing the same thing you came out of. I said, think about that. You became the same hatred that you hate. You're still in that predicament. He didn't get it. He didn't get it because he wasn't compassionate. Share the suffering, showing or having compassion. And if the word compass in there, space, area, extent, circumference, from circle, radius, size, extent, pair of compasses. To die equally, to go around, measure. The feeling of sorrow, deep terror. So he told me his story. I said, I have compassion for you. I said, that's cool, you need that. But a lot of people don't need it. I said, what about the people that doing good? People that understand your story, and there's other people too. Don't think, and I said, why you keep thinking less of us? So that completes the presentation. Why do you think less of us? I want to know, brother. I asked him, why do you think less of your own people? And for you out there, the presidency didn't change us. The presidency didn't change anything. For the first time in history, he stated that he's seen everybody marching together. I said, brother, I've been marching. Stop the violence before Black Lives Matter. I did Black Lives Matter a few times. I seen all race too. But I said, brother, the one thing, this is my compassion about me being an African Descendant Man, Aboriginal, whatever you want to call us. I said, brother, we can't take off our skin. I know you didn't hear me, but it was for the audience. I can't take off my skin color, nan time of the day. I cannot pick and choose when my suffering comes. If my suffering came from when I was a baby or in 1990, 2000s, that's my suffering. I deal with it my whole life. Just because I see a few white people, because they finally he brought that up, they got to go to the food stamp line. I said, brother, that's not the same deep, but we couldn't have this discussion because he was so set on what he had to say. Think about that. He was so set on what he had to say. Now, if you've seen I haven't done the video, but you're going to see. I'm not going to be high up and set on what I have to say to people. I'm going to ask the brother a question. And I even told the brother, I said, wow, I didn't think about, I said, you gave me a new light. I wasn't going to ask him because I can tell he wasn't listening to nothing. He shot down everything I said because it wasn't sustainable. That's not right. Let's get on the word government. I know I don't want to get on one thing because if you get on one thing, you got to communicate. You got to communicate. You got to have compassion. You got to have discipline. You got to have some understanding. And that was another one I used. I said, how come you saying you can't use the word nigga, but you going to say, since I said, sir, can you please, I even used that. Can you please not say the word nigga to me? He said, that's what I do. He said, he's trying to say, you trying to govern me. I said, no, that's on the same lines of discipline and order. And I didn't argue with him. But he kept trying to talk over me. I said, are we having a discussion or you just want to talk? That's why I brought up my father. I said, do you want to talk to me or do you want to talk? You want to talk to me or you want to talk with me? I asked him that. I didn't even respond to it. But you know what I have learned? I learned it. But I wanted to go, I had to go through that. The Spirit had told me, because it said something about spiritual. Spirit told me, and in reality it did. Spirit said, when he got on the panel, jump off. But I didn't listen. Because he sounded good at first, and then he tried to take over. And he had no problems with how he was doing it. And that's the thing. That's why if we would really sustain an economy, we can't have that. Because it's times dudes like, oh, you a punk, you backed off. No, I didn't punk her back off. I know what type of person I am. I know what type of person they are. I don't have to fight over words. I don't have to, and you telling me these people out here can do this and that to me. I'm not scared of no man. At the same time, we're not talking to, it's if you resort to everything that you're trying to get out of, who are you and what have you became? So if as a people, if we have this mentality that we're not going to do no better, we're not going to be better, I don't see how, even having said everybody, all race, that man that's marching with me now, will he be, I speak with a understanding, even with sympathy. If I take what happened to George Floyd, kinship, neighborhood, vicinity, nearness in place, pertaining to a neighbor or neighborhood, group of houses, a village, to clan, social unit, above the household. So, rooting to bend, to win. So if I'm taking a understanding, adjacent, adjoining, affinity for a relationship, that man that's marching with me, I want that man to understand my plight. I don't care if he just got it, but when you just getting it, stop thinking you know. So if I've been saying, man, why don't we come together and we can do this, and you coming along now, and then you said you used to think less of people. You thought less of me when you start calling me a nigga. See, he didn't understand that, and I said that. I said you wasn't saying that until we got to a certain spot, and he tried to walk over it. He's like, I don't use nigga. And then he did it again. And then I listened to him. After I got off, you know how many times he said nigga? One time. And he talked for another hour, and I just listened. I said, wow, he did. And then if I bring that up, if I'm trying to love and be a neighbor, I'm going to say, man, did I do that? Did I really do that? I get along well with people. And you could talk about there are savages out there that do stuff with his background. It would say, I would wanted to say, are you still a savage? Never in my life. I told him, I used to box. He said, I'm not getting to box. I'm trying to show you examples of the things you're saying. Because he was speaking very long. And we was interjecting, but his interjection was to cut you off. But when you interject, he's like, I'm not done, brother. I'll let you speak. But that was after the brother that was holding the pen. So I was saying, wow, you can speak for 5 minutes. I just spoke for 20 seconds. Because I'm interacting with what you said. So that's that discussion that, no, I would not continue to finish or give completion. We trying to build up a city. To terminate the existence of. We're trying to terminate the existence of how me and that brother, we was talking about building up each other, our city, a race. And he didn't feel the terminate the existence of our mentality that we have or what we thought. if you're going to give me a psychological walkthrough of saying, do something you would never do, you have to do the same thing first. And I know that brother didn't do that. So to tell me we got a war to grow our city, I said, why do I have to war? Why do I have to kill and pillage? He said, that's what they did. I said, so are we going to build off construct? I said, so the easier route is to go beat them up and fight them and kill them and shoot them. But the long route, which we're working on, is to actually come together as a people and as one, not with them. I said, when we come together, how come I can't enjoy you? You could be my pick-me-up brother. You don't see no Asian man. You can tell. I say Asian because they Chinese, Japanese, Korean. They all, when they come here, they looked at the same as some. So he could have been Korean too or Vietnamese. You can tell they didn't know this brother. I didn't know the language. I don't know how to speak the language. But he was by himself. He came by. You can see they talking to him. And you can tell they didn't know this young man. And it was a group of 5, I think it was like 2 or 3 girls and 2 other guys. So it became equal. See how it became equal when he joined the 2 men with the 3 girls. So it was 3 males and 3 females. And they came together like a can of paint. They didn't need all of this extra government. It was an order. It was through compassion. It was through the communication. But all that brother can see is what the world told him. The world, stopped thinking the world going to give us what we need. It's the basis of things that we do need. But when you branch off, you're going to say, and if you're going to use their information, say, oh, they sustained in a pillar. How come we can't be a pillar, a foundation of who we are, and then go off of that? So imagine if our grandfathers and grandmothers didn't fight for nothing. But I say unto one, I say unto all, it's your path, it's your journey, it's your choice. Choose wisely. Selah.